find nutmeg players in our own third. I mean, they're players who will take the ball on their own and try and dribble up from the
Yep.
center back position. They're not making the dumb moves like Kirikesh did, but you don't want him to lose that part of his game. And if his first opportunity is coming out and he just gets blasted by the front three of Man City, I'm nervous on what it could do for the future of his game.
Yeah, because I look at Brighton and I'm looking at the schedule now. After City, we play Burnley at Turf Moor. That's not an easy proposition. Burnley are the real deal. We got to face that fact, and that there is another contender of maybe that Everton, maybe a little bit better than Southampton, level of the table. That they're becoming very consistent. Does Dyche have the wherewithal to get them even further? I don't know that they have the players just yet, but they are definitely the real deal. If you play if you leave Jan out for Brighton and you play him against City, it's 50-50 if he gets that yellow then, and then you're playing Burnley without Vertonghen, Sanchez or Toby at that point. So,
Well, you look at it from
go ahead.
you can look at it from the flip side and say we need the points. Which one are we more likely to secure them from? Brighton and Burnley
Yeah.
or Man City?
Yeah.
So that's, the argument against sitting him for Brighton to let him play against Man City and pick it up and then miss Burnley. So there you go. You're without him for two matches against Brighton and Burnley where you have a better opportunity of picking up the points, whereas you go up against Man City. And, I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. It's a very tough ask to take 3 points away from them.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tough ask to get a draw.
So we're going to smash them to bits. Can't wait
out there.
I'm honestly looking very forward to the City match because these two teams, it's going to be like watching ping pong at high speed. They're going to allow us, especially at the Etihad, to counterattack and do the things that we do well. We have to figure out a way to capitalize on that and still figure out how to defend while we're doing that because they counterattack right now better than anybody in the league. And we'll get to the match preview and all that here in a minute. However, it's an interesting tidbit, to look at, that Jan is on this 4 yellow deal right now, and we certainly don't want him to pick it up against Brighton. But if he does, que sera. His ball skills are very good from the center back position. I would like to see him have that opportunity to distribute from that position against City. So I certainly hope that maybe Foyth does get the start. I think he's maybe earned it. He wouldn't have played Champions League if he has not earned the right to be on that pitch. So, and I thought he played very well. We'll see what happens. The other thing that's very interesting to note here is we kind of saw a pattern with Davis and Trippier being the wing backs, if you will, or full backs of choice for the league, and that Rose and Aurier are going to be the Champions League. Does that change at all as we get into this round of 16 chairs, do you think?
I'm not sure. Can we reset our Champions League squad once the group stages are done? I don't know.
We can.
Yes, you can.
Well, that's good.
Can be brought in. He'll be brought in.
Yeah. So I thought that was the case. So that's certainly going to shift the dynamic. So I think rotation is obviously going to be critical because we've got the FA Cup coming up. I know we'll probably talk about it in a little bit, but the draw was made the other day, and we've got a plum tie at home that's not going to be on television in this country, but it's a good payday for Wimbledon. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, fixture congestion is going to happen. We know we've got a horrible December, but that having moved the West Ham game, because I believe it was still in 2017. It's now moved to January. We've got 3 games in, is it 5 days? I think we played the second, 5th, and 7th.
Second, 4th, and 6th.
Sorry, yeah. And that's going to be tough. So we need everyone fit, and we know Toby still won't be fit at that point. But it's going to be a tough ask. So rotation is going to be key, and we need everyone to get through these Christmas games before we get into that tough January. You think December's bad? Go look at the January schedule.
Yeah, that's insane. I did. I was looking at it just here a second ago, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's very congested. So interesting football coming up. We have some very good matches also ahead of us. I was very I listened to I think it was the Spurs show I was listening to midweek. They were talking about the AFC Wimbledon match in the FA Cup and some of the history behind that. They were, as they are being called, the new Wimbledon. And apparently, and Chairs, you may know more about this history than most, the previous AFC Wimbledon turned into MK Dons. I did not know that.
Yeah. So in this country, we know that owners just pick up their teams and take them to different parts of the country, either completely change the name and the color scheme and everything, or just change, the city. How many people know that the LA Lakers originally came from Minneapolis? I mean, obviously in this country they do, but
there's no lakes in LA.
Exactly, but do they even associate Lakers with lakes? I don't know, but it's not a common thing to happen in European football. And I think it's one of the only times that I can recall, certainly in modern history, that happened. And it was not a popular move to pick up a team from South London that had success and a lot of notoriety as well, and to move them to Milton Keynes, which Milton Keynes is a prefab city. It's a post-war prefab city that is, apologize to anyone who lives there, is not the prettiest place in England. And they've got a pretty good stadium. I can't remember the capacity. I'm thinking 30, 40,000. And they haven't really flourished as Milton Keynes Dons, or MK Dons as they're now called. So obviously everyone who was a Wimbledon fan that was so pissed off about the move got behind creating an amateur team that eventually became professional and made their way through non-league football, a bit like the original Wimbledon team did, and got themselves into the Football League. I think they're in League One right now, close to the bottom, the wrong end of the table. I had a quick look. So hopefully I got my facts right there.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that on the rundown for you to ask me.
I didn't. It just kind of popped in my head.
And again, I'm just pulling those things from my recollection. I just know it left a bitter taste in the mouth of a lot of those original Wimbledon fans. And before I left the UK, that was a pretty decent Wimbledon side in the 80s. They used to give us fits and starts all the time. It was Vinnie Jones's team. They were the Crazy Gang was their nickname, and they went and beat Liverpool in an FA Cup final, I think in '88. So wow. They had a pretty good history. So for them to have that end by relocating to Milton Keynes was not so good for a lot of people. But we'll welcome the new AFC Wimbledon. I'm pretty sure we've never played them in our history, even in a friendly. So it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, Stadium MK, I looked it up while you were talking there. 30,500 is their capacity. And obviously they were the most rumored stadium outside of Wembley that Tottenham were going to be associated with during this construction period for the new stadium. And a lot of folks are pretty glad that we didn't. That'd be quite a hike. Wembley is not the easiest ground to get to, but MK Dons would have been quite a hike for everybody to have to go up there on those weekends, plus figure out how to split the ground with MK Dons themselves. So let's move on. I know that, Chairs, your fixture comparison to last year to this, because of the Stoke result, doesn't really change. We beat them at home. We beat them at home again this year. So what we talked about last week pretty much holds pat, yes?
Yeah, so pretty much we're in the same boat with a 6-point differential from the same fixtures from last season, but week to week we're 2 points off, which again really hasn't changed since a couple of weeks ago. And I think the next 5 were all wins before we dropped any points, which came, I think, in the new year. So
who's our Brighton comparison this year?
I'm using Hull for Brighton.
Okay.
So we beat them home and away last year.
Nice.
So I think it was, 3-0 at the Lane last year. It was around Christmas time, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously we need 3 points there. But in the same fixture comparison, I see us, we don't drop points until kind of the February mark, whereas the week to week is about January. So we need to get on the winning streak, but it's no secret. We know what the back half of last season was, and it's as we review every week, it's a tough ask. So win is really what we need to be doing now. And we know if you look at those fixtures, The toughest one obviously is City, and then I think we've got it. I don't want to say easy. Nothing's easy in modern football, but until the end of January when we play United on the 31st at Wembley, that's probably our next toughest fixture, followed quickly by Liverpool away and Arsenal at home. So,
yeah, man, it's the reasons that you love football. It's the reasons that you pull your hair out and nerves drive you crazy. But I love it. I'm looking forward to all of it, especially tomorrow for the draw to see who we end up with. Timmy, do you have anything else on the Stoke match or the matches coming up?
Nope. I think we're good.
Good. So we'll move right in. Chairs is, Simon's 5-a-side trivia match week 5. I'm getting my ass kicked in trivia.
Yeah, well, so the beauty of this week is because it's my quiz, I can change the rules and do whatever I want. So this week, we're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to ask you both a kind of a bonus question to kick it off. It's worth 10 points each. Then we'll get into the rest of the quiz, which is 5 points a round, and then 10 points for whoever wins this week. And we'll see how we do on the tally. Are you fellas ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
I'm really ready.
All right. So Tim, here's your bonus question. This one's this one's really hard. Fill in the blank. Tottenham blank FC.
Ooh. I'm going to go with what is Hotspur?
This is
Thank you, Alex. You get 10 points.
Yes.
And your really, really tough question, Ken.
I'm ready.
Who is Harry blank?
Who is Harry Kane?
Right, you're right. I thought you were going to go Redknapp, but that's what the Pirates said, right? Kane. So, yeah, well, I saw that. I heard that. All right, so on to the big round. Are you ready? Fellas, remember, name first to buzz in.
So we each got 10 points just then.
Yeah, you got 10 points.
Timmy, you may have just passed up Bass.
I may have. I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Question number 1. Fingers on the buzzer, which is your name. Which team did Spurs beat to clinch both the 1951 and 1961 titles?
Oh.
Same team, both times we won the title.
Ken. Newcastle.
Damn
it.
Tim.
I will throw out a guess of Villa.
Incorrect. Vass. Oh, sorry, you're not on. It was Sheffield Wednesday. You obviously haven't read that part in the book, Martin's book, have you, Ken?
I have not.
It's in there
yet.
That's where I fixed that one.
Shit.
Question number 2. Who was the winning captain, and wait till I finished, of the 67 FA Cup side? And for bonus points, who did we sign him from, and where did he go after Spurs? Winning captain of the 67 FA Cup side.
Who was playing 67?
I'm trying to think who. Ken. Was it Dave Mackay?
Correct. Who did we sign him from?
We signed him
your
from
hero.
Hearts.
Correct. And where did he go after us?
Derby County.
Oh, excellent.
Get in, son.
15
You should
points.
know that, Kenny.
15
I've only read that
points
book
for
3 times.
Question number 3. Who was the shirt sponsor during the Kappa years? It didn't change from start to finish when we wore Kappa. Who was the shirt sponsor?
Kappa.
The name emblazoned on the chest.
Ken. Holston?
Damn
it.
Tim and... Is that Autonomy? No.
Oh, so close. Thompson, which is a travel agency company in the UK.
Oh, that's right.
Question number 4. This is a 2-parter. Which stand was the shelf in?
Tim. That was the East Stand.
Correct. Bonus question.
I sat in it.
Yep, bonus question.
Did you sing the song?
Who was the architect?
Who was the architect?
Yeah.